about in propagating. He will explain that. And as a part of that concept, to support that, we will have smaller presentations by Tejwant Navalkar, Suresh Malkani, and Dr. Ajit Gokhale. Those will be about the various technological and environmental aspects of smart cities.
It's really the buzz of the day, you know that. I know that in India also there are lots of seminars and conveniences or whatever to talk about smart cities. I'm quite deeply involved in my smart cities, and I know there is a lot of confusion on what a smart city is. Now, what is the reason for that confusion? In smart cities, everything comes together. Urban planning, architecture, electrical engineering, water management, all these issues, and it appears that we don't all the main thing, like the topic of today. I want to show you that if we want to successfully work on smart cities, we need to look at the intermediate scale. Stop talking about just smart cities. It's the scale of 10 to 100,000 people, 20 to 200,000 people. That's the level of complexity which is and the size which is needed to make the technologies that are necessary for those smart cities affordable. And that's very interesting, because if you think about a regular development in India, you develop lots of townships because you build cities. There are lots of redevelopments necessary, which also have this scale. And you also suffer from a badly functioning main infrastructure on all kinds of levels. So if you make a new township, you want to attach it to that existing infrastructure, but the infrastructure sucks. So that's when you have to come up with a solution on your own. All these possibilities, also walking, is all part of the mobility aspect of cities. Then there is a city which you can... And then when you combine all the perspectives, you enter into the smart microcity. What is a smart microcity? Smart microcity is based on walking and cycling distances. And it's based on roughly 10 to 100,000, 20 to 200,000 inhabitants. It has a mix of functions with houses, jobs, public spaces, but also good sports, education, culture, social, healthcare. Smart microcities are inclusive cities for all ages and religions, are aimed at a healthy and a high quality of life. And smart ICT solutions are used as enabling technologies. And this is all what is used as enabling technology. So you have smart ICT solutions, 3D printing, you can do production in the future. We don't buy our goods from China or from somewhere else, but we produce our own goods by 3D printing. We can play with the internet, and that way we can also organize waste treatment, recycling, water management. All these things which I mention here, I checked it carefully with all kinds of experts. You can organize at the scale of these 10 to 200,000 people. Technology is available, the business cases are solid. So that is to create a smart microcity in the circular economy, where we use all the spillovers and the crossovers and the cascading of flows in these areas. Another aspect which we want to avoid, because everybody comes by car, and we have these large-scale event area. This is a mega cinema, this is a soccer stadium of Ajax, and also it's a flex stadium, so you can use it for music events. So that means that 50,000 people will come within 1 hour this is not what you want. So we propose to use all these small businesses like pop-up shops and bars to make the area more attractive to come 2 hours earlier. And that way we have a much smaller peak load in the public transport system, so more people can use the train and the metro to come here. And the local economy, with a poor neighborhood on this side, can make money on these small shops. So this is the type of development we found out here. Part of the strategy here is to improve logistics in the city. Normally, also here in Mumbai, a producer goes with a big truck into the city and then gets rid of all the Coca-Colas and one shop after the other. And currently in Europe, some of the cities are developing this urban logistics system, where you have all these trucks, multimodal trucks, ships, train, etc. Bring them to the logistics centers.
Create water bodies that get accumulated by the time people come to start occupying. Here we have also introduced a concept that water evaporates on pond, open pond. So we are trying to use putting solar panels on top of it. So they not only protect the water within the pond, but also help in generating electricity when the sun is at its worst. Then the groundwater, basically everything that is on the ground cannot be retained. It goes down naturally to aquifers, to water streams below the surface, which is lifted up by bore wells. They are then treated and by treatment stored in centralized towers. To this I supplement it with the solar panels which are sitting on top of my ponds to generate electricity in addition to these gas-based generation. So the entire thing is balanced in such a way that when there is sun, I run this less. When there is less sun, that is at night, I run this. So the entire system is balanced, and all that is thanks to ICT. I can balance it effectively so that the entire thing is optimally utilized. Now once I generate electricity, that's not the end of my gas engine. It is generating heat, which is a very necessary evil in my case, because every house, every office or every hospital, hotel, everybody needs hot water. Be it cooking, be it domestic need. Now that hot water, that again the micro. So this brings us to the ICT. We talked about all aspects of the smart micro city. Dr. Venhoeven brings us to ICT. We talked about all aspects of the smart micro city. Dr. Venhoeven, we talked of waste, we talked of water, we talked of
That's right.
sorry. Security, transportation assets and so on. All these need to be interacting through a controller or some control mechanism which is smart enough to understand the interconnection between energy, water, people, transportation, waste and so on. So that is what is ICT all about. It's not the only thing, and it's not the only thing which makes the city smart, but it is one of the it adds to the smartness of the city. So I think these are the conceptually
quality of life. This is what it involves. And my friend over here, Ismail, was saying that what about the poorest of poor? They can't really go to Lavasa and stay in Lavasa. They want to stay outside. Yes, all the problems are there. But my focus is their power. But Tom has added a great amount of clarity into that aspect of it. We'll jump to this slide because this can be very, very important. What is a smart grid? ICT. It's an electrical grid that information and communication technology helps making it smarter. It was there all along. Edison perfected it, and if you were to bring Edison today, you still recognize what it is. But if you were to bring Graham Bell and tell him ICT, he'll say, yeah, put some inside it. He said, you can bring power yourself, you can be a prosumer, and have wind farms, hydrogen storage, gas, fuel cells. Fuel cells are a marvelous thing which is happening. Wind farms, charge up your cars. Now all this you don't have to do using the this area is smarter than the rest by having all those sensors, by having that management, and it's a two-way thing. It is not that only the utility supplies you and tells you here you take what you want. It is you who can control it. Supposing there's a problem with the utility, there's a tsunami, it breaks down the power supply, you've got your own way of islanding it, of separating it out. That your small city becomes an island which is self-sufficient. You as an island, he said, can help the neighboring city, the neighboring grid as you were explaining. It's possible that the microsystem can help the rest, but not the entire population. That island in Bombay is already valid, and this islanding system has been there in Bombay since almost 75, 76, and effective. Whenever there is a breakdown anywhere else in the whole of India, Bombay is not affected because of this islanding system, and that's nothing new. It's a old system, but it works. Efficiency. Yeah. Okay. Efficiency.
We are drinking the same water which the dinosaurs drank. We are drinking the same water which was there when there were no dinosaurs. Water was born with this earth and it is still there, thank God. And we have large lawns and gardens which are maintained with tens of thousands of liters of water, potable water. Lush green garden and a news that says we may not have water if the rains get delayed. When we extract water too much, like Mr. Tom said, there was peat. They bundled the peat and they started pumping out water. Initially it was sweet water. Now it is salty water which is coming from the sea to them, and they are pumping that salty water out. Initially, the peat sweet water was keeping the salt water out. Now the salt water is coming in and it is being pumped. Now in 1925, the soil was right to there. In 1955, it came up here. In 1977, this photograph was taken. It is not soil erosion. It is land subsidence. What Netherlands has seen, California has seen, India will see if we are not careful. Modern is good, new is good, but earth and water are good. And when earth and water are good, older things help better. Was that sinkhole smart? Was that subsidence smart? If not, let us try and find out what could be smart. Tiny line on the north is Varuna. Those tiny specks are little ponds, remnants of ponds. And on the bank of Ganges, we have not sufficient clean water. By the way, this happens to be the oldest living city. It was there 5,000 years ago. It was a city even then. And in this city, where that arrow is shown, is the water supply department. Today, that water supply department is not efficient and it is not giving sufficient water. What was there yesterday? In 1931, the water supply department was born. That time, the population extent was less and it was sufficient. Before that, try and find out that arrow. There was no water supply department. Why was there no water supply department? It was not needed. This is part. When the resources are available in plenty, you do not need any kind of control over them. This is smart because in addition to Ganga and Varuna in the north, you had a river in the south called a sea. The place was called Varanasi because it was between Varuna and the sea. Between two rivers of Varuna and the sea was located a smart city which is living for 5000 years without pumps to pump out water, without pumps to supply water. This is smart. The world is going in this direction. 1822, 1931, 2002. Those ponds in 1822 were not natural. Ponds are not natural. People make them. People maintain them. People take care of them. When that tradition was broken between 1822 to 1931, we lost our ponds. We didn't take care of them after 1931, so we lost them furthermore. As a result, we are going to face water scarcity. Rainfall has not reduced to such a great extent. No. Care for water has reduced. If we reverse that, if we resolve and reverse that, it is quite possible to have water without regulators. And that really will be a smart water management. In cities, this would be smart water management. And we do. We do it in so many places in various ways and various forms. And it is possible to have abundance of pure air, clean water, healthy food. Ultimately, that is what counts. Smart.
Here you see the average height of the city and density is not so high, but there are some areas where it's extremely high. These areas. And it has to do with the traffic system which is underneath the city. So here you see that this area, this is where two metro lines and a highway in the city, and also some trains, high-speed train, regional train, they all come together in this area, creating the perfect conditions for mixed-use, high-density development with lots of jobs and interesting public space for pedestrians. This is also such an area. And what you can also see is that the grid in the city is not an even grid like Manhattan or something, but each island has a different size. This is a very big island. This is a very small island. So there's a difference between parts of the city that are very accessible for private cars, but other parts which are largely car-free areas. And what you can also see, this is the metro. These are the metro lines. And these circles, they indicate 5 minutes walking to the metro station. So that way you can create a city which has a very good connectivity between all parts of the city, and it's mainly possible to live there without a car. Here you can see, and I think we've been talking now a bit, this is 2004, so long before we developed the microcity idea, but you can recognize it, because you can develop this piece, or this high density piece, as a smart microcity around a metro station. And that way you can organize all the metabolisms, the energy, the water supply, etc., to do this. I think the presentations about the technology were really good and smart. But I would like to add one thing. If you build a smart microcity this year, you use the technology as shown by Tejwant and the others. But next year, you have a better technology. And the year after that, you have a better technology. And the concept of the smart microcity makes it perfectly feasible to develop the technology further in the course of the years. And I've talked to some Dutch experts in this field, and there's of course discussion how much can you save on the amount of water that you need from the central grid, how much can you save from electricity from the central grid. And this depends hugely on the kind of technology that you use. And of course some is still in the development phase, like the fuel cell part is very strongly developed. But believe me, the trend is that in 10 years time this 30 to 40% saving on a normal situation will increase to savings of up to 80–90%. Because this is where the industry is heading. So this city, you can see the different parts when you're closer to the central station, like this area, or when you're further away. We have a range of different densities in the city. So this is a density of 0.5 floor space area, creating an almost suburban lifestyle. And then you have the highest density, which is like Hong Kong, and this is Manhattan, 3, this is 2, that's Paris. So you can combine all these different cities in one very smart city. The next project we did was 25 hectares, which is like 60 acres development for the city of Liège in Belgium. And this is an expo site for the International Expo, which was should first become an expo site and then later on be used as a city, as a piece of the city. There is a railway station here and a tram station on this side, and we create this new pedestrian bridge to enter this part. This is a park, and the whole is a show of the most advanced technologies. I won't explain all the details because it takes too much time, because we want to go to the pictures. This is the entrance, so you see the bridge, yeah. And this is the central pavilion, mobility pavilion. So you see that we consider pedestrians as part of mobility solutions. This is a rocket, also part of mobility solutions. But this rocket is a bar. And here you see the same project. Normally when you go to, for example, World Expo sites, you see that if you come there half a year later, everything is still standing there, but it's empty. Nobody is there. And when you come 20 years later, it's still like that, but then overgrown. So it's a huge waste of money and resources. So what we created here is basically a plan with 6-meter high spaces, with a central courtyard and some signage on the facade. And after the expo you can build in extra floors and recreate this urban block. So that creates reuse of the same structure. This is Eco-Quartier, which is eco-development in France. It's this part. It's near Dunkirk. Here is the steel factory of Dunkirk. It's in the west of France, and it's near the North Sea. Here you can see how we studied the accessibility of the site. This is the site. This is the bus stop, the train station, and here is also a bicycle lane going to the beaches further, and the road, etc. So this is the site. It's an existing tree nursery. These are all existing trees, and we developed this plan, which is a car-free plan. And these ponds, they are used to clean the sewage system, the sewage water. So you can reuse this, you can have fish in the pond there. And the cars are parked in this big block in the interior courtyard covered with a central garden, in this one, in that one, in that one, and in that one. And the rest is totally car-free. So here you see the image with really pedestrian spaces. This is the central square. This is a private apartment. And this is a cats playing. And this is where the people are having collective gardens for growing food, vegetables. Also good not only to grow your own food, but also to experience the interaction with other people in your project. And here we've had enough explanations about the systems, but here you can see that actually this system is integrated in the section of the plan. And this is the pond where the fish are. So here you see the sewage, the rainwater harvesting system, the canal, and you can also create even houses next to the ponds. Like this is Genghis, the city of that you showed. You showed it, yeah. And here you see that you can have a canoe on the pond. So there are lots of things you can also do with it, like playing children and all these things. And this is how you can face, because you don't sell all the houses at one go. So you have 4 separate parts which you can develop separately, and each part has its own parking solution in those large blocks. But what you also see, which I have forgot to tell, is that we played with the size of the blocks. Like this is a very big block, this is a medium block. But we also have one single house. And this is collectively owned, and you can rent it if your parents come. If you want to have a small room, or if you want to write a book for a month, then you can rent it and be in the middle of nature. So you can see that smart cities are actually great fun. Here you see the parking solutions with cars parked inside the blocks, so that you really have attractive houses also on the ground level next to the public space. So you don't have just the first 2 stories with cars and then some people up there, but immediately eye contact and hi, I'm back. This is a project which is more theoretical. It was a competition design, but we studied how to, this is the Randstad, I showed it before, the city of Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and there was a competition for node development in the southern part of the Randstad. And this is where 10 million people live. This is our green heart, which is basically the polar system where we have desalination problems. But it's also great as an agricultural area and leisure area. We chose to develop a plan for this part. And I already showed you the Room for the River project, which was actually with flooding of the river, was with a project in this area. Now we propose to develop a node, a multimodal node, with a highway and a railway on this location. And this is what we did. Like, we developed a plan where you can have a high density development around the node with a soccer stadium, with a train. You can reach this location by train. You don't need to take the car to go to the nature, but you can simply climb on a horse and enjoy the landscape, because this is where the wetlands are. So here you see we extended the wetlands from the south to the outskirts of this development. Here is the stadium, this is the highway, this is the rail connection. So it's only like 30 minutes away from the city of Amsterdam. So it's really comfortable to have such a development. And this is where you can also hire a boat at this section. So this is the location. We have a shrinking population, and this is the floodplains of the river. So we propose to withdraw from the river and then concentrate the houses and the development in this area. Then each, in the beginning I told you that each township, each smart city, smart microcity, also needs facilities, not just homes. And also such a township needs jobs, because otherwise if people have to commute for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon, that's not a smart solution. So you want to have everything together. And this means hospital, schools, cultural facilities, everything. And also old people's homes. This is a project for the city of Leiden, which contains all these facilities. Like there are, I show the next picture. This is the total block, one big mass. These are also some apartment blocks, part of the plan. Parking is underneath this block. And here you see the program. These are three primary schools. This one, 2, and this is one bigger one. There is a health center, health and mother and child center, with nurses, with general practitioners, but also specialized in logopedia, and all kinds of things, mental illnesses. Then there is a library here, also with new media. Then here is a central square with a multifunctional central square with a neighborhood restaurant, a sports hall, youth center, all kinds of spaces, etc. And the rest is like housing, and this part is for people, old age people with dementia, and these are starter homes. And the range of houses is between middle class and poorer class. In the Netherlands you cannot say poor because we don't have that, but and this is the project. It's built in the middle of a poor neighborhood, and with very many different nationalities, immigrants that live in that neighborhood. It's the poorest neighborhood of this city, and this project is developed as an investment in the quality of life in that neighborhood, creating all the facilities together, also to create a magnetic point, sort of acupuncture, to recreate the community of the neighborhood.
May I ask a question? Did the original population of that area stay there? Are they now benefiting from that project? Or will they move out?
Yeah. No, it's only a small part which will be densified with new homes. But basically, most of the people stay there. Yeah. And here you can see our project, because it's also a symbol of this open and mixed society. Here is the library. This is the sports hall. This is the soccer court on the roof. This is the entrance to the building. These are the apartments. So you really have everything together in one blink of the eye. This is the apartments on top. Here are the people with dementia. This is their living room, so they can sit here and look at the children, and they can go out and maybe make a talk. This is when people bring their children to the school. You see people from all kinds of different backgrounds. So we played also with the windows of the building to create this diversity of windows and colors, to create a celebration of life. And this tribune, that's actually the parking garage. This natural ventilation opening of the parking garage. So here you see the entrance of the building. If the small kids, if they win a soccer cup, they can, or a cricket cup, we would say here, but they can celebrate here in the loggia and show the cup to the other people. So this is the entrance. This is the central square within the building. And you see on the left the library, this is the computer room. Here you have windows to the sports hall. Here is the daycare center. And I'm standing in the neighborhood restaurant. Here again, the same space. And this is in the other direction, and you see here the neighborhood restaurant. And this really is fantastic, because parents bring their children to school, and then they take a cup of coffee or tea, and in the restaurant, talk to each other, and this way they get familiar with other people, through the children, through the restaurant. That's where they also meet people with dementia, they can talk to them. So it's really a sort of natural healing for the neighborhood. You see the sports hall. And this is on the roof. You wouldn't believe it, but these people, they have houses in the middle of a garden. And it appears that the city of Leiden is 3 stories high, because when you're on this roof, you have a total roofscape of the city. This is people with dementia. And this is a public event in the central square in the restaurant. I have another project which is a totally different, has a totally different feeling, but it has the same function and the same idea. This is in another part of the Netherlands. It's a building which is also developed, conceptualized to give an impulse to a poor neighborhood. It contains a swimming pool, a couple of swimming pools, sports spaces, after-school care for children, and it's also next to a shopping center. And this building also is designed and developed to create a community from a lot of people with different backgrounds. And the facade, because it's mainly a sports building, normally from the function you don't need windows. But in this old architecture language of India, Mexico, there are all kinds of old architectural tradition to make painting, sculpture, etc. on the facades. And that's what I thought would be a good idea to test again. This project with the painting was made by a Belgian artist, Jean-Luc Moorman. He said that if there is a damage somewhere, something needs to be repaired, we can call him. He comes, and then he does a little bit more. We could hardly stop him. But what I also like is it's a little bit like the white skin, but then with tattoos on it. So it's a play with contemporary culture. That's important to play with contemporary culture if you want to communicate with people, because not everybody is an educated architect. So you need to use the imagery that people like. And what I like very much here is that we have this huge architectural object but there is a very small house which makes the entrance. And when you go in India and look at all the old architecture, you see all these kinds of things. So in secret, we steal a lot from history. Jos Willem is laughing. He's we're working for 20 years already. We're working together. Here you see the entrance of the same building. So you wouldn't imagine that this is a low-cost public building. It's really low cost. You wouldn't guess if I tell you that it's almost as cheap as a house. So it's a miracle, and because of the compactness of the block, that's how we create this and the skin itself is very cheap. But this is the central space. You see a 25 meters swimming pool. This is a cafe. This is the fitness area. And here you have the sports hall on the roof. And this is another pool and the slides for the kids. So this is the other space. You can close this last swimming pool by closing this door. That way you create more privacy in that area. It's also a therapy pool. It's like this. You see how the light filters through the roof? We always try to create an idea of an outside, inside building. But not by simply opening it, but because our climate doesn't allow that. But by using light. And this is on the roof, so it's in the building, in that building. And this sports hall you can separate in 3 separate halls, so that different schools can simultaneously use this sports hall. Here you see the main setup. This is the big pool with the tribune, the cafe. These are multifunctional meeting rooms, children daycare, schools, and then above this is the big sports hall. This is our first project, why we got a couple of swimming pool projects, which is in the city of Amsterdam. And there was two open air swimming pools in a park. And that was so popular that people really wanted to keep that. They didn't want to have a new building, but to give a new impulse to the neighborhood. There were 127 different nationalities living in one neighborhood. That doesn't always go well. But so that's why the municipality saved some money by redeveloping one project and then earning some money with an office tower. And everything put together, they could afford to recreate a multifunctional bathing complex, a swimming complex with fitness, swimming pools, also room for weddings, multifunctional hall. So I'll show you. And because we got the commission, because we said if the people don't want a building because they want to keep the green, we'll make the building green. So that's everybody was happy. And this is in the inside. So it's we worked a little bit around the theme of James Bond with high-tech spaces in volcano. You know all these classics. And in these days we were really thinking a lot about those things. Today we would think more about games. But here you see how the light penetrates, and you can look from this pond to from this swimming pool for children. You can look into the wedding room here, and of course you can close it. And this is the sauna and steam bath and the fitness here. So you come for one function, but you see every other thing as well. And here you see from the inside out. last project I want to show, and I think it brings together all the different themes that I talked about, and that we talked about, is about the water systems, about the mobility systems, about public spaces, about buildings. And this is a very important project that we did for the city of Amsterdam, connecting the old city with a new island in the river. And in the background you see the island, which is called the Java Island. But everybody knew that there should be a bridge here. But at the last moment, the heritage people, they objected to tearing down this building. So then I got a phone call, please help. Can you come up with a solution? And then we created an alternative as to make a hole in this building and to redevelop this project as a cultural center. And today, actually, I didn't do that, but it's a new media smart city building, because they have all these conferences on smartness, etc. I think what I like is that now this building is in use for ICT and the internet, and it's combined with the bridge as classical infrastructure, mobility infrastructure. So this is the bridge. It was made not only to cross that building, but also 2 parts of this bridge need to be removed every 5 years, because we have toll ship event, which is called Sail Amsterdam, and they enter this harbor. So we take out 2 parts of the bridge, and then the ships can come in, and they are docked on the quays. And also you see these stairs, and these are made because the quays actually are in use by cyclists and pedestrians, and the road above is for the buses and the cars, etc. But if you are on a quay and you want to walk to the other side, you want to have a comfortable walk, and you also want to have a nice walk with your bicycle, not a steep stair. So this is how we did it. So you see here a small guidance for your wheels of your bicycle. You see that the underside of the bridge is designed as a spacecraft. This is one picture showing the boats, the pedestrians, the cyclists, and in other pictures we have a bus here or a car. So you see that all these multimodal connectivities are presented in this one bridge. And this is when we have a cruise ship coming to the city. And this is when we have this sail event. We remove the parts of the bridge, and immediately this part of the bridge is used as an open-air restaurant. So that's a really smart bridge. And this is the last picture I want to show you. It's when the Netherlands almost won the World Soccer Games. We got second. We still had a celebration. So the team, the orange players, should be somewhere here, but I never find them. But the public is enjoying it.
Almost on the verge of the first stage of execution. We're using the principles that we talked about all throughout the presentation. It's called Celtrix at a place called Karjat. What you see here is a community which, as per the income class, stays in shorter, taller buildings in various stages, but has a great quality of life. There is a riverside promenade, a whole array of public amenities, and as the project goes into larger economic categories, of course you could have taller buildings. This is a school we are building for the students. This is a club with retail and multiple functions. together. These are the further phases that will come in the future. A community of 5,000 houses that are being built in outside of Mumbai. The project is under various stages of execution and construction today. And there's a number of aspects of smart microcities have been integrated here. There is a wide use of RFID. For example, all of the vehicles, all of the door knobs, they are all connected to a grid. So for example, we could start to integrate a lot of applications where based on your occupancy, the electricity will be close to the apartment, or at least the part of the electricity which is powering the light, and you could save money. All the water meters and the current meters are connected to your account, where the money can be given directly to it. There are a lot of bicycling tracks in the township. So there's a lot of smart municipal infrastructure. The same organization with whom we are doing another smart city development in Chennai. It's at an earlier stage, but again the same principles of creating green lungs, connecting multiple functions together. These are glimpses of the kind of quality of life for a very affordable housing category. The houses range from 300 square foot to 600 square foot, from 15 lakhs to 30 lakhs. This is a project which is almost on the verge of completion. It's called Excelvia at Pune, using the same principles. This is a project at an earlier stage, much smaller, but using an array of facilities of how a canal, the water distribution system, creating a complete water recovery of all the water that comes there, so that you don't fall back on the municipal grid. It's at a place called urbanism. So these are the kind of projects that we are trying to come up with at various parts of India, using the principles that Tom has elucidated. So thank you, Tom, for an interesting range of works, all the way from urban planning, regional planning, then communities to architecture. That was really helpful. And the people who have made this happen. We have from Studio-X who has made it attend the exhibition and AV. We have please come over here, the Across and Beyond team who have volunteered to make this happen. Please, Mohit, Naveen, Prashant, Kalkesh, Sanjay, Navalkar, Abhijit. It's not easy on a working day to make a program like this happen. So they have volunteered that time out from work and to put this content before you. Thank you for your time.